Thank you for the invitation to brief the Council on United Nations European Union cooperation. I'm honored to brief the Council alongside Her Excellency Mrs. Kaja Kallas, the High Representative of the European Union for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy. The European Union, conceived as a project of peace, integration and cooperation in the aftermath of the Second World War, has evolved into a major economic and diplomatic actor and a strong advocate of multilateralism. Today, it maintains a global presence through an extensive network of delegations and offices worldwide, including here in New York. In line with Chapter 8 of the United Nations Charters, the United Nations continue to work closely with regional and sub-regional organizations, including those with a global reach, such as the European Union. The European Union's founding treaties underscore the commitment to multilateral solutions, particularly in the framework of the United Nations. This commitment has been consistently reaffirmed, including most recently in March by the European Council. In an increasingly complex and uncertain international environment, sustained engagement, dialogue, and trust building are essential. Respect for international law and the Charter of the United Nations remains central to addressing shared challenges. The European Union plays an important role in advancing these principles. Mr. President, the European Union is a key partner across the full spectrum of the United Nations work, from international peace and security to human rights, sustainable development, and humanitarian action. We are particularly grateful for the role of European Union member states as troop and police contributing countries, including in challenging environments such as Lebanon, and in intergovernmental processes, including the Peacebuilding Commission. At a time when advancing political solutions remains difficult in many contexts, the support of the European Union to the United Nations good offices, mediation, and political engagement is especially important. Across a wide range of situations, whether in our efforts in Afghanistan through the Doha process, in the wider Middle East, or in our efforts in Sudan, the Great Lakes region, and Libya, we continue to rely on the strong and consistent European Union engagement in support of inclusive political processes. The coordination and complementarity guiding our efforts translate into action in various ways. We work together in Central Asia, most recently to implement the United Nations Global Counterterrorism Strategy. In the Western Balkans to advance reconciliation, and in South Caucasus, where the United Nations co-chairs the Geneva International discussions on Georgia with the EU and the OSCE. Cooperation between the United Nations, the European Union, and the African Union has also continued to deepen, including through regular trilateral engagement at both political and technical levels. Building on successive AU United Nations summits, this partnership has helped advance more predictable and sustainable approaches to peace support operations in Africa in line with African Union leadership and ownership. Mr. President, the war in Ukraine is a severe test to the international order-related regional frameworks, including and especially the European Union. The Russian invasion has shaken the foundations of the European security architecture to its core. As we enter the 5th year of this war, the human tolls continue to rise. We hope that the Orthodox Easter temporary ceasefire will help pave the way towards a more durable one. An immediate, full, and unconditional ceasefire must be the first step towards just, lasting, and comprehensive peace grounded in respect for international law and the principles of the United Nations Charters. Mr. President, cooperation between the United Nations and the European Union is long-standing, comprehensive, and operational in nature. It extends to the country level, including in some of the most challenging contexts. This is particularly evident where European Union missions are deployed alongside UN presences, including in the Central African Republic, Somalia, Kosovo, Israel, and the occupied Palestinian territory, and Libya. In some cases, European Union operations are directly mandated by this Council, including AU4 Althea in Bosnia and Herzegovina and AU NAVFOR Med Irini related to Libya. Our cooperation spans key areas such as the rule of law, disarmament, demobilization and reintegration, and security sector reform, with focus on nationally owned peace-building priorities. We have also strengthened joint efforts on advancing the women peace and security and youth peace and security agendas. The European Union has joined the Secretary General's common pledges for women's full, equal, and meaningful participation in peace processes as part of its commitment to fast-track women's direct participation in formal peace talks. Important frameworks, such as the 2003 Joint Declaration on Cooperation in Crisis Management and the 2020 Framework Agreement for the provision of mutual support, have strengthened institutional cooperation. More recently, the Secretariat, through the Department of Political and Peacebuilding Affairs and Peace Operations and the European External Action Service, have agreed on joint priorities for 2025-2028. These priorities aim to further strengthen the partnership by enhancing political and operational support for UN peace operations, advancing cooperation, peace building, mediation, and conflict prevention, and deepening engagement with regional actors, including the African Union. They also provide a framework to advance shared priorities on climate peace and security, the rule of law, protection of civilians, and countering terrorism, alongside cooperation on security sector reform, disarmament, and innovation. Mr. President, the adoption of the Pact for the Future last year reaffirmed the centrality of the United Nations and the importance of strengthened international cooperation grounded in the Charter. Our partnership with the European Union is a clear expression of that commitment. We look forward to continued cooperation with the European Union in advancing peace and security and improving the life of people around the world. Thank you.
I thank Mr. Khiari for his briefing. I now give